You've been going to the gym for months, maybe close to a year. And if someone asked you, you'd say it's going well. You show up. You do the work. You're not one of those people who quit after 2 weeks. But somewhere between the locker room and the drive home, there's this quiet voice, and it says the same thing every time. Nothing is changing. You look the same, maybe worse. And you don't say it out loud because saying it out loud makes it real, so you don't. You add another set. You try a new split you found online. You buy the protein powder the guy at the counter recommended, and you wait again. Think about the last time you actually looked at yourself in the gym mirror. Not a quick glance. Really looked and felt something close to disappointment you weren't ready for. You adjusted your shirt. You moved on. But it stayed with you the rest of the session. That feeling of putting in the time and having nothing to show for it. You remember when you started. There was something electric about it. The first few weeks felt like momentum. Your body felt different, tighter. You were sore in places you'd never been sore before, and you wore that soreness like a badge. You thought, this is it. This is where it finally changes. And then it stopped. The soreness faded. The excitement faded. But you kept going because that's what you're supposed to do. Consistency, right? That's what everyone says. Just be consistent. Show up. Trust the process. So you did. 6 months in, you're still wearing the same size. 8 months in, the progress photo you took sits in a hidden album on your phone that you haven't opened since. You told yourself you'd post it when you had results worth posting. You're still waiting. You've watched guys walk into that gym after you and somehow look better than you within 3 months. You told yourself it was genetics. You told yourself they were probably on something. You moved on. But the thought stayed. And here's what nobody talks about. The shame isn't even about vanity. It goes deeper than that. It's the feeling of trying and failing at something that's supposed to be simple. Eat, train, sleep, repeat. How hard can it be? Apparently for you, very. That's the story you're telling yourself. And it's wrong, but we'll get to that. Because here's what's actually happening, and this is the part most beginners never figure out. You were handed a broken map and told to run. From the moment you walked into the fitness world, you were surrounded by noise designed to keep you spending, not progressing. Supplement ads targeting your insecurity. Influencers selling programs they don't actually follow. Gym culture that glorifies effort without ever questioning direction. You absorbed all of it. You followed the rules. And the rules were wrong. Think about the program you're running right now. Where did you get it? A YouTube video, a Reddit thread, maybe a friend who looks decent but has never actually explained why he does what he does. You took that program, you followed it for 3 weeks. It stopped feeling challenging, so you found another one, then another, each time telling yourself this one is the real one. This one is optimized. This one is what the pros actually do. That cycle has a name, program hopping, and it's the silent killer of every beginner's progress. Because here's what your body needs above everything else. It needs a signal repeated long enough to be forced to adapt. Every time you switch programs, you reset that signal. You go back to zero. Your body never gets the message. It never has to change because you never give it enough time to realize it has to. And then there's the supplement shelf in your bathroom. The pre-workout, the BCAAs, the fat burner someone told you was a game changer. You spent more money on that shelf than on understanding the one thing that actually drives results. And the industry knows this. They built their entire business model on the fact that a confused beginner is a paying customer. Clarity is bad for their margins. Your frustration is their revenue. Nobody told you this. You were too busy trying to figure out which exercises hit which muscle heads to see the bigger trap you were standing in. But there's something more uncomfortable underneath this. Something that goes beyond bad programs and overpriced supplements. The real reason 90% of beginners never build muscle has almost nothing to do with their training. It has everything to do with what they think training is. Here's what nobody tells you about building muscle. Most people treat the gym like a performance. They show up, they go through the motions, they feel the burn, they leave, and they call that training. But the gym is not where muscle is built. The gym is where the signal is sent. Muscle is built when you're asleep, when you're eating, when you're doing nothing at all. The workout is the request. Everything after is the response. And if your body is not responding, it's not because your workouts aren't hard enough. It's because the request is unclear, or inconsistent, or drowned out by everything else you're doing wrong outside those walls. There was a guy trained 5 days a week without missing a session for almost 2 years. He had a gym bag by the door every single night. He was there before most people arrived. He tried every program, every split, every rep range. From the outside, he looked like someone who had it figured out. From the inside, he knew the truth. He looked almost identical to the day he started. Same arms, same chest, same body that never quite matched the effort he was pouring into it. The problem wasn't dedication. He had more of that than most people ever will. The problem was that he had never once tracked a single thing. Not his calories, not his lifts, not his sleep. He was working incredibly hard with no way of knowing whether any of it was working. He was flying blind and calling it discipline. And this is where it gets interesting. The first principle that separates the people who transform from the people who just show up is this. Progressive overload is not a technique. It is the only mechanism that matters. Most beginners think progressive overload means lifting heavier eventually, that if they just keep training, the weight will go up naturally and results will follow. But that's not how it works. Progressive overload is a deliberate, tracked, intentional increase in the demand you place on your muscle over time. It requires numbers. It requires a log. It requires knowing that last Tuesday you did 8 reps at 60 kilos, and this Tuesday your only job is to do 9. Without that, you are not training. You are exercising. And there is a difference. Exercise makes you feel good. Training makes you look different. Exercise is movement for its own sake. Training is a calculated conversation with your body where you tell it, in numbers it can understand, that it needs to grow. Most beginners spend years exercising and wonder why they never transform. The identity shift here is real. You have to stop being someone who goes to the gym and start being someone who trains with a purpose so specific you could write it on a napkin before you walk through the door. The second principle is one that will feel counterintuitive the first time you hear it. Soreness is not progress. Soreness is damage. You have been chasing the feeling, that deep ache in your chest the day after a heavy bench session, the stairs that destroy your legs after leg day. You interpreted that feeling as proof that something worked. The fitness industry reinforced this. No pain, no gain. If you're not sore, you didn't train hard enough. You believed it because it felt logical, but here is how your body actually works. Soreness is your muscle tissue repairing micro tears caused by unfamiliar stress. The key word is unfamiliar. Your body gets sore when it encounters something new. That's it. After a few sessions, the same workout produces less soreness, not because it stopped working, but because your body adapted. Adaptation is the goal. Adaptation is progress. The absence of soreness after consistent training means your body is getting better at handling the demand. That's exactly what you want. The people who keep chasing soreness by constantly switching exercises, constantly going to failure, constantly destroying themselves, they are confusing damage with development. And their joints will tell that story 10 years from now. The third principle is the one nobody wants to hear. Your physique is built outside the gym. You can have the perfect program. You can train with precision and intensity every single time you walk through those doors. And if you walk out and eat 300 calories less than your body needs to recover, you will go backwards. If you sleep 5 hours a night and wonder why your strength isn't going up, the answer is not more volume. The answer is in the hours you refuse to take seriously. Muscle protein synthesis, the actual biological process of building new muscle tissue, peaks in the hours after training and remains elevated for up to 48 hours. That entire window is determined by what you eat, how you sleep, and how much stress your nervous system is carrying. You are spending 1 hour a day in the gym and ignoring the other 23, and then blaming the 1 hour. There was a woman who cut her gym sessions from 6 days to 3. Her friends thought she was giving up. 3 months later, she had made more visible progress than in the previous year combined. Not because she trained less, because for the first time, she gave her body enough time and nutrition to actually respond to the training she was doing. She stopped interrupting the process. This is where most beginners are, working hard enough to stimulate growth, but not recovering enough to let it happen. Stuck in a loop of effort without result, never understanding that the missing piece isn't inside the gym at all. Now, here's the part that might be uncomfortable to sit with. You don't have bad genetics. You have an untested, untracked, inconsistently applied program that you've changed 12 times in the last year. That's not genetics. That's noise. Every person in that gym with a physique you admire made a decision you keep postponing. Not a big dramatic decision, a quiet one. The decision to stop guessing and start measuring. The decision to follow one thing long enough to know if it works. The decision to treat their sleep and their food with the same seriousness they treat their workout. You're not overtrained. You're under-recovered. You're not unlucky. You're uninformed. And there is a difference, because one of those things you can actually change. A year from now, your body will be the result of what you decide to do differently today. Not motivational, just math. So, here's where you stand. You have two paths, and neither one is comfortable. You keep doing what you've been doing. You keep showing up, switching programs every few weeks, chasing soreness, ignoring your sleep, wondering why the results don't come. A year from now, you'll be standing in the same spot, maybe a little more frustrated, maybe a little more resigned to the idea that your body just doesn't respond the way other people's do. Or you sit with what you just heard. You stop performing effort and start applying direction. You pick one program and follow it until the numbers tell you it's not working. You sleep like it's part of your training, because it is. You eat like you mean it. You stop waiting to feel motivated and start building a system that works whether you feel like it or not. Neither path is easy. The second one just actually goes somewhere. The question isn't whether you're capable of building the body you've been chasing since you walked into that gym. You are. The question is whether you're willing to stop doing what feels like progress and start doing what actually is. The mirror doesn't care how hard you tried. It only shows what worked. Your move.